Wait. We're going to whack you, don't get up. We're going to whack you, don't get up. We're going to whack you, don't get up. We're going to whack you, don't get up.
Harder?
It's him. It's all right. It's all right. Come on up. Not you. You. So, do you all think that what we should have done is something different than what we set out to do because someone else's desire came into the mix? Do you think that? Or do you think that you should stay true to what you intend to do? So, don't, it should be,
It's not my fault.
And that's the truth. Actually, it is. It's co-creation here. Yeah.
I think it's important for us to remember that we are all one, and yet individuals. You and I are one. We're all one. And that we are infinite.
Yeah.
And it's good to remember that on occasion. It brings us back to our basic oneness.
So you're saying it doesn't make any difference who actually sits in the hot seat, that the benefit to everyone is there, that since we are one, since we're all in this together, since we're finding our way in this?
If you are at a position of awareness to receive it, yes.
Yeah, we would say that.
So I just wanted to start off with that.
Good.
A wobble factor in my life is there's always the but.
Yeah, let's get right to it. Let's not avoid it. Let's not stay in a place of feeling good. Let's go right to the wobble. Well, we understand the content here, and we are really not trying to guide you from caring about things. And we are playing with you a bit about honing right in on the wobble or problem. But if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd make those wobble subjects minimal, while the wobble-free ones, we'd maximize those. And pretty soon, the wobble will be insignificant.
Okay.
Now he's about to argue for his own limitation.
Do you know what I'm going to ask before I ask it?
Well, you just explained to us that we are all one.
Okay. Let's go a different route. Haven't worked for quite some time, and
We haven't either.
became aware of Abraham Hicks in January and been inundating myself with the teachings, and it's not that I hadn't steeped myself before then, but it was just time to start. And I'm very happy. But financially it's getting better already. So, I mean, I've got my head right, and I meditate, and things are going good for me. A year after my wife and I got married in 1992, my stepson had a brain tumor, had to have it removed. And he is disabled at the house with us. That's part of the reason I want to become financially independent, so that I can leave him enough that he has to live on. That's a wobble factor.
Yeah, because things that are out there, in other words, the part that wobbles the most isn't what's happening right now, because you've adjusted and you're doing well. The part that wobbles for you the most in this scenario is getting down the road in your mind, thinking about not being there, and wondering then what will happen to him. We want to say to everyone that while the dynamics of your life experience might not be as direct or as extreme as that is the factor that hinders you often about things that are future experiences. It is the reason that we want to keep pulling you back to your awareness of now, what you're doing now, what you're doing now. Because as you can show yourself that you're stable now, stable now, stable now, stable now, ideas will flow. It's like, and these analogies are going to sound a little lightweight to you, but it is like this. Esther was sitting at the beach the other day, and the marine layer had come in, and so she couldn't see the ocean at all. She knew it was there, but she couldn't see it. And she thought to herself, there's more about the ocean than its visual effect, because it was so good on her skin. The sound of it was so good to her ears. The smell of it was so wonderful to breathe in. There was more than just seeing it that she could enjoy. And so she thought, I figured out how to make a foggy day not wobble for me by focusing upon the things that feel good about it. And before long, she sat there for nearly 2 hours, she found herself glad to not be distracted by what she was seeing, because it caused her to smell it in the way she hadn't smelled it before. It was like sight was dominating her experience before, and now sound and fragrance was dominating her experience. It was like a whole new experience at the beach. So then a sort of changing of perspective that was good for her. Then she went to have her hair done. And she's visiting with this sweet girl who is helping her with her hair. And this girl now has a new, really great boyfriend. And Esther just loved listening to what she was saying about it. And then Esther said, do you remember what a short time ago it was that you were writhing in the discomfort of the absence of your boyfriend? Seems like only yesterday she couldn't see this person. Oh, he was there, close enough to smell, close enough to feel, close enough to hear. He was in her vortex. He was on his way to her. But she was feeling angst about not yet being able to see him. And so Esther, over a period of weeks, over really a period of 2 or 3 months, had been talking to her about just be happy where you are and knowing it's coming. And now it was so much fun to be there after the fact, after all the solutions were in place. And remember the times when the solutions weren't in place. It's just Esther's way of shoring up for herself and for her friend and for anyone else that is standing in a place where you can't see how it's going to come and when it's going to come and where it's going to come from and who's going to be there. But you can practice the feeling of it coming and what it feels like when it comes. You see what we're getting at? You got to practice the feeling of no wobble even though you don't know the details. That really is what we're talking to you about, no matter what it is that you're wanting to make better in the life that is before you. You got to find a way in the absence of it now to keep it from wobbling. But what so many of you do, you reach out into the unknown future and bring it back to the now and use the unknown future as your reason to wobble now. You see what we're getting at? Don't do that. Because that's just messing up now with a future that hasn't gotten here yet. If you can acknowledge that well-being is what's dominant and that it will continue to be, and that the path will continue to unfold, and it will. And you just remind yourself that as best you can on subjects that's easier to remember it. Then in time, you'll start having that step 4 experience that we've been talking about, where even on a subject that has every right and every reason and every potential to wobble, it won't. Because you will have already established your stability first, you see.
It's just that I don't realize it now. But
and
I will.
Esther couldn't realize the ocean right there with her eyes in the way that she wanted to. But she looked a little closer with some other ability to translate vibration and found it, and you will too.
I think if I try to look at it from an infinite point of view, it helps. To know that this isn't the only time we're here.
That's the way you started. And we want you to know that this co-creation, this trajectory, was in the works before any of you got here.
That's what I think.
Because wobble-free living is what you've come to live. It's what you've come to show. It's what you've come to teach. Unconditional love, not conditional love. unconditional. We're stable, even though some might say we don't have reason to be. We're happy, even though some might say we don't have reason to be. We're uncertain, even though some may say we don't have reason to be. You find your reason where you are, and then everything acquiesces to that.
And that's what I wanted to say when I first came up also, is that unconditional love for ourselves is the very beginning. I mean, that's it.
It is,
and
isn't
everything else falls in place after that.
Yeah, yeah.
It really does.
We agree.
Thank you.
Very good.